Hello students, in this lecture video I'll be telling you about photophosphorylation concept and chemiosmotic hypothesis. So let's get started. Now so far we have looked into the photophosphorylation, that is the Z scheme, in the previous lecture, that is non-cyclic photophosphorylation. Now today what I'll be telling you is cyclic photophosphorylation. So cyclic means, like you can see in this figure 13.6, that it starts with one molecule and again it reaches the same molecule. That is the cyclic flow. All right. So this location of this is the stroma lamellae. Now why so? Because here only one photosystem is present, that is PS1. Grana or thylakoid, they have both PS1 and PS2. But stroma lamellae membranes, they lack PS2 and they also lack NADP reductase enzyme. So that is how this cyclic photophosphorylation will occur at wavelengths which are above 618 nanometers only. So in the presence of light, if the wavelength is beyond 680 nanometers, the chlorophyll molecule which is there in PS1 that gets excited at 700 nanometers will start giving the electrons, releasing the electrons. ATP will be produced through the ETS, that is electron transport system. And again, because of the difference in redox potential, again it will be given back to chlorophyll P, that is P700 molecule. So this is one cycle which starts with this and ends again on the same molecule. So that is why this process is called as cyclic photophosphorylation. Photo in the presence of light, phosphorylation as because in the presence of ADP plus 1 phosphate, ATP is formed. Now, how actually this ATP is synthesized in the chloroplast? To understand this mechanism, a scientist called as Michel, he gave the chemiosmotic hypothesis. Now, let us look at it, what this hypothesis says. Now, ATP synthesis, it occurs in the thylakoid membrane, if we see, where both the photosystems are present, PS1 and PS2. PS2 is in the inner membrane, inner side, and PS1 is at the outer side membrane. Now, what is this shown? This is pink color is the thylakoid membrane. And outside is stroma, where the proton concentration is low. So what happens? With the help of certain molecules, this PS2 molecule will be excited in the presence of light. There will be splitting of water. We have seen that the complex for splitting of water is only present in PS2. So here the protons will be released and hence the concentration of protons inside the thylakoid cytoplasm or lumen, which we can say, is high. So inside the lumen, the proton concentration remains high. Another thing is that the thylakoid membrane is impermeable to H plus ions. So these H plus ions will not move outside. That is why the concentration in the lumen is always high and in stroma it is always low. But what happens due to this proton gradient, or because of this high electrochemical potential gradient of protons, what happens? There is ATP synthase molecule which is there in the membrane. It shows certain conformational changes which leads to production of ATP and release of H plus outside. Now, as we know that the thylakoid membrane is not permeable to these H plus ions, so there are certain molecules like cytochromes which will bring back this H plus inside the thylakoid membrane. So that is how this proton pumping keeps on going, and basically the concentration inside the lumen always remains high as compared to stroma. Moreover, we can say in short that chemiosmosis, it requires a membrane, a proton pump, proton gradient, and ATP synthase enzyme.